What is up, guys? Welcome back to Call Me Old Fashioned, where we talk everything bourbon, whiskey, and of course, old fashions. Today, we're going to do a little late night pour, but I got some new bottles. I went over to Manifest Distilling. It's a craft distillery in Jacksonville, Florida. Me and the wife, we went up there. We kind of just did the tour. I do have a video coming out about that soon. Don't know exactly when, but it's coming. But we did the tasting there. I did a flight. I did all types of stuff. We got some cocktails. And obviously, when you go to the distillery, you gotta pick up some new bottles. Either that or just like the alcohol starts flowing and you just start buying stuff. So one of two things happened. But I did pick up 3 new bottles. So we're gonna break them down. I'm gonna open them up. We're gonna try them. There's one that I did not try. There's one I did try, and then there's one that's not even bourbon, but it was so good we have to talk about it. So let's go ahead and break these things out. First one. Okay, well, not the first one. Let me get them all out. Let me get them all out of here. That way I can get this big old box down. So for those of you that do not know, Manifest Distillery is obviously in Jacksonville, Florida. It opened in like 2016, so they're still like freshly new, right? So they do all types of stuff. They do vodka, they do gin. They do some rye whiskey. They have bourbon on the way right now. I think they're doing some MGP stuff, or at least some blending with MGP. But we'll go over all that stuff in the full video. So I did pick up this one. I liked a lot at the distillery. It was their 100% rye mash bill, batch number 4. This is obviously bottle number 79. It's 100 proof, right? But it's pretty tasty. I believe this is at least 2 to 3 years old age. I don't remember what it was off the top of my head. I picked up this one. This one's the gin. All right, I'm not a big gin guy or vodka or anything besides whiskey or bourbon, to be honest. But this is a barrel aged gin, 95 proof. Obviously, still, distilled, aged, and bottled in Jacksonville, Florida. It had some flavor to it. The wife liked it even. Well, the wife doesn't like anything that touches the barrel. So, and then this one is one of their more limited ones that was just kind of sitting on the shelf. This one is going to be their wheated rye. It's a wheat whiskey, 3-year age, 85% wheat mash bill and 15% rye. This is bottle number 205, batch 1. So it was just calling my name. It was just calling my name. So I figure we're gonna crack them open. So let's dive in. Everybody, welcome to the stream. Happy Saturday. If you're just tuning in, make sure you drop a little like, subscribe if you haven't already. Let's check the chat. We got Thomas. Says, cheers, everyone. Thomas, welcome back, bud. Alex says, right on schedule. I want to say I was probably about a minute late, but that was because I was getting some ice and stuff, I'm actually going to make like a makeshift cocktail with the gin. I don't ever make anything besides old fashioned, so I figured this is a good opportunity to do something different, even though it's, going to be super simple. We're going to do that last, though. I'm going to dive into the rye first, just to kind of re-warm up the palate. We were there for like forever. I will say Victor says, chug it. Yeah, I haven't even opened it yet, bud. I'm not going to chug any of these either way, but I mean, respect to ask. Thomas says, just finished a pour or MB Roland single barrel cast strength rye, sipping on Rick House Reserve 120 proof. Wilcott, isn't that like the Total Wine thing? Anyway, if you guys haven't been or even know what I'm talking about as far as Manifest, definitely something I would keep on your radar, especially as the years kind of progress. They're going to be pumping out a ton of bourbon and whiskey itself. The rye it was good enough for me to pick up, so if that says anything. Also, if you buy 3 of any kind of bottles, you get a free Glen. I know it's not free because it's kind of built in, but I love me a good free offer. Just saying, anything to get me to buy something, Anyway, everything is made with locally sourced grains. Obviously, you get the grains from Florida here, but when I say like you think of Florida, you think of citrus, right? You think orange juice, stuff like that. Alligators, no alligators in this, but it definitely has like this citrus vibe and like citrus and floral vibe across the board with a lot of their stuff. It's also why I picked up that because I think that one's gonna be different. Missy Miyagi says, "What's your thoughts on Yellowstone, sir?" To be honest, I've only had it one time. Don't know which one I had. It was decent, but I can't tell you which one. I did see Total Wine had like this sampler pack with like their toasted. Um, I don't know if it was a bottled and bond, but it was 100 proof, and then like one other one. And I was like, yeah, I might have to go pick that up because it was like 375 milliliter bottles for like $55. The only thing it didn't have was like their single barrel or their limited release or anything like that. Those are the ones I was kind of looking at, but you never know. The North Florida Bear says, good evening, cheers. North Florida, welcome to the stream, bud. Yeah, honestly, you get that nice rye, not a ton of spice, but it's like that citrus kind of comes through. It reminds me of like lemon lime / orange juice. I know that's not what it is, but that's just what it reminds me of. It has like this like earthy tone as well, which I like. It's funny. I asked him about the corks. I didn't realize people were going to be offended by me asking that. I said, "Is it a real or synthetic cork?" And he's like, "Synthetic." Acted like if I shot somebody by asking that question. I was like, "My bad, my bad." Thomas says, "Yellowstone single barrel store picks are awesome." Hey, I need to get one, but I told you about the sampler thing. Rohan Joseph said, "Salud." You said you grabbed those all from the Total Wine. No, I didn't pick. I went to the distillery in Jacksonville. Um, the Yellowstone sampler pack I was just talking about. That one is at Total Wine in Jacksonville. $55. 375 milliliter bottles. If you're looking into the Yellowstone stuff, this on the table here, this is Manifest. It's a craft distillery in Jacksonville, Florida. They're new. They opened up in 2016. We went there. We did a little tour. They do like vodka. They do gins. They do all types of crazy shit. They're slowly getting into the whiskeys and bourbon, but that stuff takes longer to age. So that's why they were doing that kind of stuff. They also got hit with COVID, so nobody could really go in there and keep it pumping. But I picked up a rye, I picked up a barrel aged gin, and then I picked up one of their wheat whiskeys. Eli says, "Evening, folks. Enjoying a glass of some Van Winkle 12-year Lot B." Hey, this is the last of my Lot B. This little sip. We'll save that. We'll save that for the end. If we're alive, if we're making it. Anyway, no, for real. This bottle, this one right here is the one I just poured up. It's like $45. Obviously, mash bill is just 100% rye. Normally, you see like 95 rye, 5% malted barley. This is no malted barley, just 100% rye. But Florida grains. What's it say on the back? He's like, "We consider this 100% rye mash bill to be the bigger, bolder brother to our standout wheated rye. Still impeccably balanced, this rye whiskey delivers all the spice one would expect and then some." Okay. Thomas says, empty pappy box. I get it. I feel you there. Liz says, "Good night, boys. Had too much fun day drinking. Early night for me." Yeah, she was tore up. Anyways. Yeah. Nah, that one's good. It's nice and light. That's what I like. It's just different, right? All my other ryes are pretty heavy on the spice. Obviously, you got some heavy proof ones. I will say the finish on it, though, it lingers. The spice comes on the finish. It's like a citrus forward with a spice finish. I like that. It's different. I can't get the plastic off this one. There we go. So this one right here, this little middle one, this one is a limited release. They only made the small bottles. I didn't make big ones. They said they're not going to do this again. This is like a one-time thing for them. They just were playing around and said, "Hey, let's not just drink it ourselves. Let's go ahead and send that out." So it's 3-year age, 50% ABV. Where does it say? Bottle number 205, batch 1. We're going to try that one here in just a second. Eli says, just got a bottle of Blanton's and Eagle Rare today. Eli, there you go, bud. Can't find that stuff around here right now, but I did see that when Dixie was about to get another drop. So they're slowly pumping those things out. It's just a matter of when can you find it. Again, I got the fancy Glen to go with it. 12 free for the price of 3 bottles. Eli says my aunt owns a liquor store, so I get bottles at price. She looking to adopt, or like, what's up? I'm kidding. Kinda. This one's the one I have not tried. I've had this one. I just had it at the distillery. It was good. Good enough for me to buy it. So, oh, there we go, boys. So this one I didn't have though, and this is the one I'm probably the most excited for. You guys know I love a good little wheated whiskey here. So, a wheat and a rye mash bill. I'm not exactly sure if I've had one, but we're about to. No. See, that's the one thing I did. I looked at this label and I go, this label sucks. And the only reason I said that is because one little spill and then your bottle just looks grimy. And I just did it on the first pour. Boris says, this is exciting stuff. What's up, y'all? Cheers. Happy New Year's. Boris, welcome back, bud. Happy New Year's. Welcome to the stream. Exciting stuff. Hey, we're here to try new whiskeys all day, every day. So, any chance I get, I want to try something new. Mr. Lopez, welcome to the stream, my guy. He says, don't forget to subscribe. Smash the like button, folks. See, sometimes you just need a good wrench to come in here. Let the people know. Chiggy? What? He says, whiskey. Tater Don says, cheers, call me old fashioned, and everyone. He says, I fucking live Redwood Empire. I mean, I live Redwood Empire too, but he says, fucking love. Bro, I talk about Redwood Empire every single day, so I mean, it's probably like the one time I wasn't, but I'm. Chiggy, you gotta get the Pipe Dream 101. That one's the best one. Thomas says, after the holidays, the liquor store shelves are wiped out. Michigan economy must still be booming. I just think a lot of people didn't get a ton of shipments in. They got some, obviously, but it's, you know, people went and just flooded and bought everything to have a good time. User says, for the boys, don't connect your phone to CarPlay if you have a sneaky link. I mean, I guess. Ms. Lopez says, what's up, homies? Anyway, let's try this one. 85% wheat, 15% rye, 3-year age. You know what's funny? It's like it's just got to be like something like within the grains, within the water that they use, that it just, like, I could probably blind it and go Florida, right? It has that citrus vibe to it still. Not ton, right? Not comparably to the rye by any means, or comparably to like their vodka or their gin, but it's still there. Chicky says, never had it, would love some 101. Pipe Dream 101 just kind of somewhat came out. It's hitting Total Wine, so I would probably get that. He says, I'm subscribing. Fuck it. Hey, we're here for the people. I do have a video on the Pipe Dream 101 if you want to check that out. Make sure it's something you want to get. Ooh. Bro, that's different. That's different. It's kind of nice when you get like a sip of something that is just like almost refreshing, right? Some bourbons, you know, it's a little thick, a little sweet, and it comes in, you're like, bourbon, right? It's nice when you get one that's like refreshing, somewhat lighter on the palate. It still has the proof and stuff. It still has a finish, right? But the bro, it has a little bit of that mint, there's got to be like botanicals or something like mixed in there somehow. Obviously, it's not in the mash bill, but like that's what it feels like. It feels like it has like a trinticle or whatever you call that was in that Redwood Empire. But it has definitely like a grapefruit orange vibe. The rye is definitely a little heavy on it. A little bit of vanilla, some light caramel, maybe light brown sugar type of sweetness to it, but it's not like super thin or anything, but it's kind of thin on the palate. But that's phenomenal. That's the best one by far. I don't even have to go back. I know this is the best one by far. I probably should have bought 2. I like that a lot. They only had like maybe 10 more of these that I saw. They could have some in the back that I didn't see, but there's about 10 more on the shelves. If you live in the area, I would pick that up. Adam says, "How you doing, brother? Hey, we're running it back. You know, we had a good time. We're not here for a long time. We're just here to have a couple drinks." Rohan says, "Good old St. John's River water." Basically. It was funny on the tour. The guy said, "This is JEA's finest river water," and I said, "Sometimes that shit's good. Sometimes it's not, though." Bro, Steven in the chat, bro, you always chime in with the good zingers. He goes, "Me, you, a bottle of allocated bourbon, and a lot of beard oil." Don't fucking threaten me with a good time. What kind of allocated bottle, though, Steven? Like, you gotta, I mean, I'm sure you're trying to impress, but like, which one are you bringing to the table? If you're gonna say like Heaven Hills allocated, like, you know what I mean? Chiggy says, "Have you had the Screaming Titan? I've seen it the past few times at my liquor store. I just wasn't sure for $100. I have almost all of them. I got the Screaming Titan. It's good. The Devil's Tower, better. It's so hard for me to rank this. I feel like everybody asks me. Maybe I should move the shelves a little bit. My favorite one is going to be Pipe Dream 101 for cost and for flavor. The Grizzly Beast, the red label, it was my favorite one for the longest time. But Devil's Tower, high rye bourbon's right there with it. The Screaming Titan's good, don't get me wrong. But like when you compare it to all of them, it just, the other ones kind of fit me better. And I personally like wheated bourbons more. It's just, maybe that's what I was feeling that day, you know? But there's not one bottle that I'm like, this is bad. You know, it just depends on what your preference is. The only one that I would ever be hesitant on buying again is the Van Dusen straight rye whiskey. It's a high malt. What is it, like 60? A 31% malted barley in it. It's different. So if that's the kind of vibe you're going for, then by all means. Anyway, so continuing down the line here. So we had the rye, 100% rye mash bill. We had their limited release, which is the 85 wheat, 15% rye wheated whiskey from Manifest. Now we're going to do a barrel-aged gin. And that way, because it was good, don't get me wrong, it's not better than like bourbon. But like for like something to switch it up, have a different kind of drink, different kind of cocktail, it's probably the only one that I've ever been like, I do want to have that. Now, anytime I'm drinking in public, right, there's a lot of stuff going on, you know, especially when I have the wife, the kid around me. It's harder for me to focus on what I'm completely drinking because I'm focused on everything else too. You know, I'm always surveilling, you know. But from what I had, I was like, this is money. So this is batch number 18, bottle number 207, 45% alcohol. Ooh. It's barreled in their rye whiskey barrels. It's a char number 2. If anybody's like dying to know the chars on them. They don't say that on the bottle, I don't believe. On the back of this bottle it says, we begin with our manifest gin, which then rest in carefully selected, new and previously used casks, Each batch of barrel gin comes from a different barrel. New world meets old school. Okay. I'm here for it. Barrel aged anything sounds good to me, so. Plus, the wife liked it. And you guys know I'm on a mission to figure out how to get my wife to like bourbon. Baby steps, you can't go in there and be like, here's some blends, baby, better like it. You know what I mean? You gotta ease her in. We started with the bourbon cream, right? She likes the clear liquor, so we get some vodka, we get some gin. Now we're going for a barrel aged gin, right? You see how I went from a bourbon cream to barrel aged something? I did have her try the. So I had a few different pours at the distillery. They had a ton of stuff, but we were talking about Zinfandel finished stuff on yesterday's live stream. So I had the 100% rye whiskey finished in Zinfandel barrels. Money. You're gonna have to wait for the full video for all the pours because I did like the samples. I did a flight. We did some cocktails. That video will be coming out probably Monday if I had to guess, but that's where we'll kind of break down the entire visit. Yeah, bro, like earthy citrus. You get a little like charish oakiness that kind of comes off, but it's not much. It's mainly citrus. Man, it just smells like it smells like if you're making like a, I don't know, hunch punch is what coming to mind. Where you take orange juice and limes and grapefruits and you throw it in a giant bin and then you start pouring alcohol in. That's what it feels like. RMZ Life says, was drinking tequila night till I ran across you. Live now. I have to switch. By the way, hello from Georgia. Are we talking about like U.S. Georgia or like Georgia the country? But yeah, I mean, tequila's not bad. I'm not a big tequila guy, but yeah, I'm drinking a little rye whiskey, wheated whiskey. This is a barrel-aged gin, so I mean, I'm only going to have a sip, and I'm going to make a weird cocktail with it, and then we're going to switch it up, But yeah, as far as the pour goes, nose is really nice. What's the, 95, 90? It's kind of light. Again, it doesn't have such a ton of barrel impact. This is definitely on the lighter side, but it's enough, right? It's enough to kind of get you in the same room. Oh, U.S. Yeah, you're right there. I'm in Florida. We're like close. So you could probably go to this distillery if you really wanted to. It's worth the trip. It's worth, if you ever come towards Jacksonville, it's worth a stop in. Yeah, I mean it's good. It's light, citrusy, floral. It's got some floral aspects to it. Little tiny bit of oak. Not a ton though, right? I'm not looking for a ton in something like this. In something like this, I'm trying to go lighter, maybe a little sweeter, but like a totally different, expression of something. Chiggy says, what distillery? This is Manifest Distillery from Jacksonville, Florida. It's new. They just opened in 2016. When they opened up, they weren't even doing whiskey or bourbon. They were doing, they started with their vodka, their gin. They did hand sanitizer for COVID. He brought that up like 4 times. And then he kind of moved on to the rye whiskey. They have bourbon in the making, right? Bourbon takes longer to make. Instead of just pumping out regular like Florida whiskey, they want it to be bourbon. So they have like 1 or 2 bourbons, but it's like an MGP mix, right? They're rye mixed with MGP, and it wasn't bad. They had a 10-year, blended bourbon or blended whiskey. I mean, and it was okay. The 10-year was okay. It wasn't anything that like made me super excited about it, but it was enough to like I enjoyed the pour. I wasn't gonna buy the bottle though because I wasn't looking for a craft MGP. I was looking for local. I wanted to see what they were working with. and I think they have a ton of potential for future. It's just a matter of, what. Jiggy says, what's the age on those bottles? They're all different. This one, the wheated rye or wheat whiskey, is a 3-year, and I believe their rye is a 3-year as well. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I have it in the video that will be out Monday because I talked about it. I just can't remember. So the drink I'm making, just so everybody can see, let me move this stuff over. Oh no. So, gonna use the barrel-aged gin. Take my little cup. TPO or TPO said 106 says I went to Tennessee a few years back and they had hard Mountain Dew, which was exclusive in only a few states. The hard Mountain Dew's everywhere, bud. Yeah, I can get the Baja Blast one. That's the main one I'd be looking for, But anyway, I'm gonna take a little bit of lemon, put a splash in there. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna measure it out. I'm just gonna put kind of like a smallish splash. Nothing crazy. Because I'm not trying to have some crazy mixed drink in here. And then I have this peach citrus fresca sparkling soda. So I figured that'd be kind of good in here. Little Old Fashioned says, cheers. Welcome to the stream, bud. Chiggy says, hard Mountain Dew sounds terrible. It's not great. It's asking for a hangover. But if you're like a big Baja Blast fan like I used to be, you know what I mean? Like it's not horrible. It's just not it's not my favorite. But I've only bought it like twice. And I think that was for like dumb reasons. RMZ Life says, I think I'm going to go with Blue Note, uncut, unfiltered tonight. There you go. I hear that one's a good one. Unfortunately, I have not had that. I've looked at the bottle like many times. I should have picked it up, but I don't know why I haven't. So no excuses. Somebody call me instead of call me old fashioned, we can call me barrel aged gin cocktail maker. Because that is good. If the wife is still awake, I guarantee you she'd be like, oh my God, babe, this is so good. She doesn't sound like that, but that's, you know what I mean? It's like a decent summer drink, right? It's mainly just like gin, obviously, but it's a different expression with the barrel aged portion to me. I don't care for normal gin that much, but Florida gins, by the way, are obviously made with the botanicals here. Everything's locally sourced for this distillery, so I think it's good. I think it's a decent distillery, right? For being a craft one, being local, I think they're going the right direction. I don't think they're perfect by any means, and they didn't have everything I wanted by any means. But I definitely like where they're going. And I like that they're 15 minutes down the road. So I'm like, we're smack dead between them and St. Augustine, and like distant wise. Rohan says, cheers, guys. Have a good weekend. Rohan. Missy Miyagi says, I think gin tastes like old man ass water. Trust me. I know. No. Can't trust you. Please elaborate. Can you explain exactly? I'm not a big gin guy. I've never been like, ooh, gotta have a gin and tonic. You know what I mean? Like, that's not me by any means. I'm down to try any kind of alcohol, at least, once, to give it a shot. And I told them, I was like, I don't like gin. Don't give it to me. And they're like, you should try this one. Not like their typical gin, but their Florida gin. That one was money. Like, it was good. But their barrel-aged Florida gin was banging. That's the only reason I bought it. Partly for me, partly for the wife. I think it's a decent pickup. I also like, as much as I have whiskey, and bourbon and different stuff like that on the shelf, I do have like a small little section on the other side of the camera that has some vodka, some gins, stuff like that. But that's like in case somebody else comes over and just doesn't like whiskey. or if I'm just feeling crazy and I'm going to switch it up for some random reason. It hasn't happened yet, but it may. RMZ says, I have a store pick, 119 proof, and I love it. You should pick one up. I want to pick one up that's a store pick for 119 proof, though. That's what I want. That sounds exactly what I want. Anyway, I do have a little bit of a coffee. I got the wife one of those, what do you call them? With the pods. Nespresso machines, right? It's like one of the fancy ones that make coffee and espresso. So now every time I look at her, she's like, you want me to make him an espresso? So, coffee on deck. I was losing my voice there for a minute. Miss Muggy says, oh, I was just saying it tastes like old man ass water. I actually love it. Okay. Okay, hey, you ain't got to explain yourself if you don't want to. I'm not here to judge. I'm just here to have a good time, have a couple drinks. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you drop a little like on the stream, subscribe if you haven't. We are like 100 hours away from being monetized. So ideally, that'd be cool to hit tonight. I won't know until like next week because it takes like a week to calculate hours, but yeah. So if you guys get bored in your free time, just throw up the channel, walk away from your phone if you want to. I don't care. Every hour matters to me. So Chicky says, glad I came across your channel or your live. Seem better than most whiskey channels. Cheers, Mr. Beard. Mr. Beard. Maybe I changed the channel name. My beard looks like shit right now, boys. I love how like people come into the live sometimes. They're like, great beard. I'm like, most of the time, I get up off the couch where I'm about to pass out, come in here and turn the cameras on, and then we go live. I don't doll it up, you know. Sometimes midday when I clean it up and I have time to do it instead of like rushing to work, it looks good. Not right now though. I also need to get a haircut, so we gotta get cleaned up here soon, boys. Thomas says doing a bunch of half ounce. Did I miss something, Thomas? What are you doing a half ounce of what? My phone's like freaking out over here. I was just trying to look up one thing, but it just didn't want to pull. Joa? Joe? I don't know how to pronounce that. Gabriel says BOA something. Night. Is that English? Fuck, bro. Am I having a stroke? I'm dyslexic, but I don't know if I'm that bad. Oh, half pours tonight. I mean, I kind of do half pours every night, so you ain't gonna see me arguing with you. I like doing half pours because I like doing multiple pours. I like being able to switch it up and have something, you know, just a little bit different. And maybe I'm crazy. You guys let me know. Do you guys like drinking like one bottle all the way through the night and then maybe like a different night drink another bottle? Or are you more like kind of like how I am, where you're like, ooh, I want a pour, maybe two of one bottle, then I want to switch. Have a pour, maybe two, switch it up. I like to have a pour, sometimes two, and then I switch the bottle. I most very rarely will drink the same thing all night unless I'm like not really drinking. If I'm having like a two pour kind of night, then sure, I'll have one bottle. Not like one bottle drinking, but you know what I mean. Like I'll have just the one individual bottle. Which one was it? Yeah, that's the gin. Yeah. It was funny when we went to the distillery. Obviously, I don't go into any place and be like, I'm here for YouTube. You know what I mean? Like I was just trying to have a good time. He's like, why are you filming? Why are you filming? And I was like, I do vlogs for the kid. And they're like, oh. And they go back there and whisper because I was diving into the tasting notes with the wife, especially because I got a little buzz while we were there. Gabriel says, I'm from Brazil. Hey, welcome from Brazil. Mr. Miyagi says multiple different pours. See, Thomas says Detling cast strength now. One of my favorite bottles. I need to get that. I've heard great things. So definitely want to pick that up. Yeah, as far as the pour goes, maybe I'm fairly normal then. I like switching it up. Nothing wrong with having one bottle or anything like that, but especially like with this, I can almost never choose. So that's kind of part of the issue is I'll choose like a few bottles and go, okay, that's what I'm going to drink tonight. I wonder if the website has anything about what is that? Okay, that's weird. I'm not gonna tell you. I'll let you see that at the main video. Um, they don't have anything on this wheat one. They have their rye. Let me pull up the rye details real quick. See what that has to say. 100 proof, 50% ABV. Long before we opened, using entirely rye grains, stole our hearts. A big result. It's big. It's bold. Okay, who cares? Manifest typical organic rye whiskey is made with 60% rye grains, 40% whole wheat. Okay, the contrast, it just kind of tells you the same things on the back of the bottle, I guess. Well then, yeah, I mean, I didn't expect anything like this as far as like a limit release, small bottles, probably super small batch, and said, hey, let's get this out to the people. I mean, this is bottled. Oh shit! You saw that? I thought for a second I thought I was about to spill it. Then I realized the cap was on. Then I was worried about breaking it. It's like my life flashed before my eyes there for a second. Um, I mean, this is number bottle 205. They said they had around 10 left. So maybe they made like 115 bottles. Maybe like 250 or 215 is what I meant. My bad. Or maybe it's like 250. I don't see somebody making a random number like that, but maybe I'm crazy. So, anyways, those are the bottles that I picked up today. Overall, 10 out of 10. Mr. Miyagi says, "Forget Brutal. Cameo Fashion is the best whiskey channel on YouTube." I appreciate that. I mean, two totally different things in my opinion, but I mean, hats off to Brutal. He's definitely the one that kind of like got me into it. Not because he did anything crazy, but he was the first one I saw, and I was like, no way somebody's doing this on YouTube. Because I used to make YouTube videos, like normal random stuff. I used to do YouTube for my photography business. I always want to do something like fun, something that I personally like doing as far as like hobby stuff. And, I like a little old fashions. I like cocktails. But I imagined at the time that I was like, YouTube's not going to allow that. And then I went to a hotel during a wedding, and his channel was in the search bar. I was like, "What's that?" I watched it. I watched like two videos, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we're going home and creating a channel." So that's all she wrote. That was about a year ago. Almost went down the wrong pipe. Anyways, yeah, this one by far is the best one. It just kind of feels closer to a bourbon, and that's probably why I like it the most. The rye is good. Don't get me wrong. Even the barrel aged gin is not bad. This one kind of feels more like with what I would prefer to drink, as far as like something closer to a bourbon, more sweeter, front and mid palate with the spice on the back end. Again, it could use some work, with some age, um, and stuff like that. But overall, I think that's a solid. That's probably the best pickup. I wish I knew the exact price. Overall, between like how much it costs to go, the bottles, the drinks that we had there is from the cocktail bar and stuff like that. It cost $200. So, $200 for 3 bottles, 2 tours, 3 cocktails, and a Glen. I think that's a pretty good deal. RMZ says definitely can't believe you're bigger. Can't believe your channel isn't way bigger. I'd say half me, half who knows. Because I definitely was kind of lazy last year. I'm not gonna say lazy because I went live like every Friday, but I should have been making other videos. And once we had the kid, I kind of slowed down. I just didn't really have a lot of time. And then I went back to work and excuse after excuse, basically. This year, I have maybe about another month of like busyness. I probably could knock that out in like a couple weeks, but then after that, then we can ramp back up. That's where I'm gonna try to go to a few distilleries within the coming weeks / months. Maybe do a couple hunts. Obviously, I'm still gonna stick with my lives and do reviews and stuff like that. But Miss Miyagi says you seem more open-minded about different bourbons. Seems like if he goes into a lot of pours already hating it. Oh yeah, I get what you mean. Like he kind of goes in going like, this is gonna suck. I mean, that's a dumb way of looking at it. I don't know if he does that, but the way I look at it is most of the time, if I'm in this room with that bottle, I spent good money on it. Nobody's giving me these bottles for free, so I'm gonna go in thinking, all right, just let the whiskey tell me if it's good or bad. And there's almost no bad or good whiskeys, or not. Let me rephrase that. There's almost no bad whiskeys. It's just what do I prefer. the But I'm more like I want it to be good. I want every bottle I pick up to be phenomenal, so that way I have a phenomenal bottle. But at the same time, I've had some bad bottles. Don't get me wrong. The Whistle Pig Alfa Romeo F1 thing, nothing more than I love to do than chuck that thing across the pond. But if I don't like something, typically I'm like, hey, let me revisit this in like a couple weeks or a month or whenever I get to it. Because I'd much rather make sure it's just not me. And most of the time, I'm going to give you a reason of if it does fit with you, right? Like the sherry finish stuff, or like the Van Dusen straight rye. I was like, hey, like, may not be for me, but if you like malt, you like the chocolate notes, might be for you. So, yeah, I'd say I'm pretty open-minded when it comes to everything alcohol, except for vodka. Fuck that shit. I don't do the vodka thing. It's like the one. So I will say, the St. Augustine vodka, Manifest vodka, they both had like nice qualities, but it's still vodka, right? And most of the time, it's because it's Florida. They have like this citrus floral style vodka that's not made with potatoes. It's made with sugar cane. Potatoes, sure, it's kind of like what everything's mainly made out of, as far as vodka goes, but that Florida sugar cane makes a better version of vodka, in my opinion. I still don't like it, but if I had to choose, I would choose like something like theirs or the St. Augustine's. It just at least has a sweeter / citrus-ish vibe to it, which could be somewhat redeeming. So if you're a vodka drinker, check those out. Why are we talking about vodka? I'm left field today, boys. I'm making a gin cocktail, having a pour of gin, talking vodka. What are we? How are we starting the year off? We're starting a little weird, aren't we? So somebody give me a blind of bourbon. I'm not gonna break them out tonight, but I'll show you what I have for these. It'd be kind of cool. I don't know when I'm gonna break these out. It's these. They are craft cocktail sugars. Basically, this is from Elevated Cocktails, or is it Elevated? No, Luxy Mixology Cubes. I have the Manhattan, the Moscow Mule, and the Old Fashioned. I haven't done too much research. It's basically muddle it up, add like a couple drops of water, add your alcohol, let it ride. Now with an Old Fashioned, obviously you gotta add in a cherry. Missy Miyagi says, "Glad you're coming around to the High West, man. I saw that on your New Year's Eve." Oh, the collection one. I mean, it's not bad. It's just not. I don't know if you were you here when I first cracked the bottle. I just said it was like okay at best. Second time I had it, it was better. And then I had the Midwinter's Night Dram. That one's I definitely like that one more. Um, Not the biggest port finish either, or wine finish in general. We had that yesterday. Um, I'd say it's grown on me. I love Utah, so like I wish nothing but to. I wish High West was my favorite. I'd move to Utah. Can't do that though. Yeah, if you guys haven't watched it, I'm not saying the whole thing's like riveting and very like crazy and entertaining, but if you want to know what's on the shelves, all of them, because you don't see everything. I got a giant table over there covered in a mess of all types of bottles. I have a shelf up there and there. The shelves go out pretty far, but I broke down the entire bourbon collection as far as what I have currently in the room. So I would obviously recommend go watching that when you have free time, but it's a long one. It's like shit. That live's like 2 hours long. But and it's I wish I could be like, yeah, you can skip through it. It's broken up. Like it's like 2 hours almost straight. So yeah, I mean, this is good. I think I'm gonna stop drinking though. I don't want to like mix too much, just in case, you know. But I will say, you can even see it on this one, right? This one and this one, right? They're labels. I kind of dig it. It's kind of simplistic, still shows off quite a bit of the liquor in the bottle. I like the little logo. They mainly decipher like what you're drinking based off the color of the label. And they kind of broke down their labeling process too of how like everything's like handwritten just to kind of show, hey, this is craft. So I kind of liked all that because they're writing down each bottle number for the batch. Like you shouldn't have to do that. You could leave the bottle number off if you wanted to. You can just say, hey, it's batch 4. Um, so whatever. Miss Miyagi says that was the best stream you had. Man, didn't know you had that many bottles. I have quite a bit. I think it's like 94. Now it's 96, not including the gin, obviously. I have a ton. Unfortunately, like I had more, but I like to drink. So, like there was what did we finish recently? We finished off obviously the regular Buffalo Trace. We finished off the um, one of the Woodford's Double Oaks that we had. I believe one of the Four Roses one we had. I think we replaced the Jim Beam. But yeah, we kind of turn and burn through some of the stuff, but most of the stuff I try to keep at least some so we can talk about it. The St. Augustine stuff, I kind of turn and burn through those. Thomas says, say what you want about Bruzel, but he has given me free exposure to a lot of small, large liquor stores. So that's what I mean. Like, I don't watch a ton of his stuff, so I can't say that. But I'll say like some of the stuff that I didn't know was out there. I'd say like Frey Ranch before they kind of got super popular. I was like, okay, that sounds good. I'm not talking shit about Bruzel by any means. I'm just saying like two different things in my opinion. I don't watch a lot of YouTubers though, so when I watch like I'm watch a quick video I watched like Little Old Fashioned last night. Randomly, it was just still up. Watched them while I ate some food, and then I passed the fuck out. Jake Thompson in the chat says, "What's up, man? Shot my first deer, second day on opener. My bad, on open. Congratulations. How big? How big are we talking? And are we making jerky? And how much are you sending me? Okay, I'm being greedy. I'll take a pound now. Some deer jerky right now would be pretty good. Mr. Miyagi says, "Where's Cat tonight?" So he was in the Discord, and I believe he was at Outback. And I was like, "What are you doing at Outback?" And he didn't. He said it's the steakhouse. I said, "Oh, okay. Bring me a bloomin' onion." I never got a response, so I guess it's a long line for the bloomin' onions or something. RMZ says, "Definitely have a selection, not a collection, or I do so many bottles." Or I'd so many bottles? RMZ, I'm kind of like blanking on what we're trying to say here. Are you saying you have a selection, not a collection? I don't really collect either. Like, I like to drink everything I have. There's not a single bottle in here that is not open. So one thing that everybody's like, "Oh, you probably don't drink those." I buy a bottle, come home, and I open it up on a live stream. So there's a recording of every bottle being open. But yeah, I don't think, like, shit. I've owned this bottle, for example, for 4 hours before I came home and opened it and started drinking it with you boys. So most of the time, everything's right there. So selection or collection, you decide. Jake said, "Doe, I'm back. You remember me?" Yeah, I remember. You went fishing. You're not 21, and now you're hunting deer. I remember some people. Come down. I'm not. I don't have dementia. Thomas says, "Freezer full of venison here." Okay, show off. I didn't do any hunting this year or anything like that, so. But I would love to have deer jerky. Missy Miyagi says, "Cat having a corporate meeting at Outback?" He could be. He didn't give me any details, though. Maybe he's meeting with investors or something. Meeting with YouTube, trying to get us monetized. RMZ says, "Or I'd have so many bottles, may need to stop drinking myself." That now we're talking crazy. I mean, I guess like if you stopped drinking but kept buying them, you would have like a serious collection. Part of the fun of collecting though is being able to crack it open and trying it. You know, I don't see the point of buying a bottle and be like, "Look, I own it." Like, cool. I like being like, "Look what I bought and how good it tastes." Go buy it and drink it with me. You know, that's kind of what my vibe would be. Jake says, "Let's see your most expensive whiskey glass." I don't really have expensive whiskey glasses. I can show you a few that I have. Obviously, I have this one I got. It says "Promoted to Daddy," 2024. Obviously, for my son being born, my wife got me that on Christmas last year, 2023. I mean, the year before that, she got me these glasses, right? My initials, right, engraved. And then I have, let's see, kind of have all my glasses out. So I got this one, my little holiday glass. It says "'Tis the Season" with a little red truck. Yeah, this is Total Wine. It's like $12. Nothing crazy. I don't buy like expensive whiskey glasses. Like that's not my thing. I got a Uncle established 2022. Obviously, my buddy had his kid. My wife got me these two for Christmas this year. This one says, how do I get it to show? says, call me old fashioned. And then she got me this one too, which is more of like just like the cup link that goes around it. That says, call me old fashioned, but it's embossed. This one, I like drinking out of this one. It's like, you know, like some cups have like the, when you get like a hot coffee, it's got that sleeve to make sure you don't burn your hands. It's kind of like to make sure you don't melt your ice. It's leather. It looks cool. Again, these aren't like anything crazy expensive. Um, I'm not like bougie like that. I kind of like, I'll drink out of whatever. Now, if I'm drinking it straight up and neat, like I do like it in a Glen. Like that's just, I don't know. There's just something about drinking in a Glen. I got this one today for free. It has Manifest's logo on it. So, RMZ says, oh wait, I already read that. Macy Miyagi says, Cat discussing the 2025 Catalina wine mixer. There he is. I think that's got to be it, you know. Thomas says, stop drinking. I don't know. I thought that's what you said. Oh, I thought that's what the other guy said. RMZ says, LOL, just for tonight, or maybe start proofreading things before I hit send. Before hitting send. It's not you, it's me. I can barely read. How about that? Make it easier. Jake says, so I do drink with my aunt and uncle. I was drinking whiskey and they wanted to get a bottle, not fully for me, but that's what I picked, that I can drink with them. I get what you mean. When I was younger, I remember we lived out in like the country, right? And we had nothing to. We didn't have TV. We didn't have nothing. It was just grass out there, you know. And like all my siblings were like gone for the weekend, so they were like, "Hey, like, what do you want to drink? We'll get you something, right? Not just for you, but like for the house." And yeah, I got Jack Daniels. So Thomas says my old man was 95 when he quit drinking. Damn. My dad was supposed to quit drinking. I could tell you stories for days on that dude, but he always would say he quit, but he would do some off the wall shit where he never did, but crazy. Jake says, I like whiskey, smooth, and don't know what to pick. Any suggestions? Buffalo Trace. Nice beginner bourbon. Still on the sweeter side. But one of the more popular brands. I think that Buffalo Trace, in my opinion, is probably one of the better starting outs if you wanted something different because you couldn't find that. Regular Woodfords or maybe Elijah Craig small batch. If you're like on a super tight budget, Jim Beam Black 7-year age. It's like $18. All of those are pretty good starter ones, I'd say. Jake says, I'm fine with having high proof whiskey too. That's not the problem for me. I'm just saying starting. That's all. That's all I was going based off of. But the smooth is in the eyes of the beholder, in my opinion. Because I used to be like, oh, that's pretty smooth. And they go, what's smooth to you? And I go, I don't know. It was smooth. You know, easy to drink, nice sipper. Lost Monarch. Redwood Empire's the white and blue label. It's a blended whiskey between the rye and the bourbon, but that one was like obnoxiously smooth, like super easy to just sip on. Had good flavors. It's only 90 proof though, but it's one of the ones that stood out the most to me as far as like when I drank it, I was like, I could throw this back with no hesitation. But that bottle's not for everybody. Not everybody likes that one. I wish The only thing that's missing from this bottle is just a little bit of the story. You know, tell me why this bottle is so small. Like, give me some deeds. You know, I can't find anything about it on their website though. Let me see if I can find who gave us a tour. Oh, it was Corey. Corey gave us the tour, the room manager. He was cool. He was a cool dude. Jake says, I'm going to head out. See you later, Jake. You have a good rest of your night, bud. Congrats on the deer. Mr. Miyagi says, call me old fashioned. You're living the American dream. Business owner, family, sipping good bourbon, killing it. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm living the dream. I got goals I want to hit. I got other things I want to do, but I'm not going to, there's nothing I can complain about, you know? I mean, I could if I really wanted to, but I'm not going to. Thomas says, I love high proof juice, but I have nothing against an 80 proof Basil Hayden 10-year. I'm not the biggest Basil Hayden fan. Don't know if I've had the 10-year, but Jake says, I need something to mix with White Monster citrus. Mix with White Monster. Fuck, I don't know, bro. That's not really like something I would mix anything with, but honestly, like the Lost Monarch probably would be pretty good in like a mix because it's not citrusy, but it's like nice and light where it probably would mix well with almost anything. If I had to like really be picky, where I'm like trying to give you the best possible cocktail, I would go with like a rye because the White Monster, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's citrus. If you're going with something like that, a rye, like a little spice, could pair fairly well with that. So I would go with like a bullet rye or so obviously something inexpensive. Again, going back to Redwood Empire, they're like $30 for the rye. The Emerald Giant, I think that'd be okay to mix with. So I would go with that. Thomas, to kind of go back to yours, Jake says, what's the Lost Monarch? I'm just going to pull him over. Lost Monarch is the blue and white. The white and green is the Emerald Giant. To go with your monster, I would pick a rye for the spice. So I would go with this. These are both cheap-ish bottles, but they're still good, right? But if you're mixing it for a cocktail, you don't want something super expensive anyway, because it's just kind of like a waste. You know, you're gonna mix a super sugar drink with it. It's gonna kill a lot of the taste. You're not gonna know the difference anyway. You just need something that's gonna be to enhance the drink overall. So I would go with one of those two for funsies. But yeah, Thomas, you know what's funny is like a year ago, I was probably saying like my preferred proof was 100 to 105. What I liked to drink at the time. I had higher proof stuff. I just enjoyed the 100 to 105, but I still always drank, 90 to 95 proof stuff. The more I've kind of expanded my selection here, I gravitate towards higher proof stuff just because I feel like that gives me the most complexity. But also like a year ago, 2 years ago, I didn't pull out tasting notes as well. So even if I had that higher proof stuff now, I would have never got the little nuances in it that I really do love in a higher proof bourbon anyway. So the more my palate kind of grows as far as being able to pull out those notes, the more I enjoy the higher proof stuff. Because I keep going like I feel like I'm kind of a proof whore right now. Because I'm like, ooh, I'm not picking up the Jack Daniels rye until I find it above 130. Like I do that because I kind of just want the notes that are going to come with it. So proof whore. No, I mean most of the time I like to try and start with something low. right? I like a good 90 proofer to start off with, or 100. Just depends on what the night's kind of calling for. Yeah, it's 100 proof right here. I'd say it drinks kind of like 100, maybe 105. But I'd say that's probably just because of the finish. Has that nice little spice from the rye. I like this one a lot. Thomas says I have a Dickel 9-year, 86.4 proof that I really enjoy once in a while. I mean, every once in a while, like some. I mean, shit. What do I have? The Hibiki that's like 96 proof. I enjoy that one every once in a while, and it's low. It's just something about switching it up. You don't always have to have something that's 118 billion proof. Sometimes you can enjoy the simplicity of a lower proof bourbon as well. Grapefruit. It's gotta be grapefruit, That's what it feels like. Single barrel. Single barrel. All right, let's get this off here. El Diablo says, where are you located? I'm located in between Jacksonville and St. Augustine, Florida. Stay hydrated, my friends. Anyways, so I think I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to save that. I'm going to try and get my buddy to try this one. I think he'll like that. I think he'll like the rye too. He's not going to like the gin, so that don't matter. The only thing that sucks about that small bottle is that's not going to go on my shelf anywhere. It doesn't make sense. So it's just going to sit over off on the side. The Manifest could hit the shelves, but I don't know where I would put it. Maybe next to St. Augustine one? Maybe. We'll see. The world will have to let us know sooner or later. All right. Well, you guys know my collection. I'm down to have like one, maybe two more pours at best before we go. So you guys kind of let me know what should we pour up for a pour next. Don't say Blanton's because I don't want Blanton's. Could you imagine trying to pull tasting notes out of coffee? Just, wow, what's that? Cocoa and red berries. Honestly, I could get down with that. Being like a sommelier for coffee. I mean, I drink enough caffeine as it is. I'd probably be perfect for it. Anyway, obviously we're talking a lot about whiskey, bourbon, stuff like that. What are you guys drinking on? Anybody that has not told me what they're sipping on, what are you guys having a pour of tonight? El Diablo says, cool. Iowa here. What bourbon is hard to come by from where you're from? Almost everything. I never find Weller. Weller's almost impossible to find. Obviously, allocated stuff in general is kind of hard to find. But there's something that I was looking for, right? I can't remember. I had a list of what I was hunting. Ooh, Peerless. I want a Peerless double oak. We don't have, like, if we have regular standard Peerless, I can find that a couple places, but I can never find the double oak. It's just because, like, we get a good amount of stuff here, but we don't have like the outrageous taxes on it. So people will drive down from, Georgia, Alabama, a few different places, and they'll kind of come hunt our area quite a bit. So it kind of gets saturated with people taking everything. Thomas says 40 to 50 years ago, most of the bottles were 80 to 90 proof. See? Nobody was picky that back then. They just wanted to get something good to sip on, I think that's where it needs to go back to anyway. No, don't, let me rephrase that. I think people need to go back to being okay with that kind of proof as well. I think everybody's on the hype train of only having high proof stuff right now, and I don't think it needs to be like that. Missy Mug says Yellowstone over here. Yeah, I do need that Yellowstone still. El Diablo says, gotcha. I mean, I kind of find stuff randomly. We get some stuff here though that's like people are like, "How'd you get that?" Like Heaven Hills allocated some places, but here it's just on the shelves everywhere. The benchmark stuff's here on the shelves everywhere. Besides the foolproof, obviously we got all the new riff stuff. What else do we have? I don't know. Like Old Granddad 114 took me a while to find that, and that's kind of like a budget bottle that's a lot of people find. You know. Thomas says, but higher age juice. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Give me a 25-year, like a 25-year age. Like I want to see something crazy like that for still an okay price. I understand you're gonna pay for some of the age, but Missy Moggy says, bust out the Russells. Call me old fashioned. Are we thinking like the Russell's 10 or the Russell's single barrel? The Russell's 10 is money. Like it's good. It's good stuff, but El Diablo says, have you tried Booker's? I've tried Booker's. I do not have Booker's, though. The only time I've ever had Booker's was just like a pour from somebody that let me try it. We don't have a lot of Booker's here either. Booker's is definitely like an allocated thing. Most of the liquor stores around me, because of the influx of like tourists, it's either you're paying secondary, which I almost refuse to do, or it's a point system. And a lot of people around here will kind of hoard their points. And when something like a Booker's or something like super hard to get kind of comes in, they kind of rush there and buy it before I ever even notice it was there. Grab a new Glen. So I do have, obviously, Russell's 10-year age. And then I have the Russell Reserve Private Barrel Selection Single Barrel Non-Chilled Filter Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 110 proof. This one's obviously a selected by Tattoos and Scars. It's like a group here in Jacksonville. So, see, Mr. Miyagi knows. He says 10-year because you have more of it. I do. This is the one of the few bottles that when I run out, I do replace this one because this is one that I like. Wet that cork for a second. Whenever, like for example, when I'm watching like sports, and I want to drink and I want something good, but I don't want it to be expensive, and I don't want to have to like think about the tasting notes. It's typically when I go to something like Jim Beam 7 or something like that, but this one just gives you a little bit more. So sometimes I kind of go to this, like this and the Ben Holiday. I typically would go to those two. That was a good pop. It's because I wet it up though, but. It's like when I drop a cork, it's like the equivalent to like drop a soap. ITROG444 just subscribed. iTrog. Hey, welcome to the family. Appreciate the support. We do go live every Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And then obviously I always tell you to turn the bell on because we go live other times. Today's Saturday. We get home from the distillery, start breaking out those bottles and have a good time. So turn it on, have some fun. Losing voice. The single barrel though, it's hard, like, because I know I got to finish it soon. You can't let a bottle this short, like this small amount, just sit in the bottle for too long. It doesn't do well. All right, so I can't let it go to waste forever. But I've been hoping to find a single barrel that's similar because I really like this bottle. Unfortunately, as soon as I got it, I went to a buddy's house and that's how everybody beat it up. So. Good Russells. I remember when I first got this bottle, like I saw it on the shelves forever, and like no joke, I heard a couple people talk about Russells, and I go, what? I was like, what's so impressive about that? I was like, it's like $35. Who cares? And they're like, no, you got to try it. When I tried it, I was like, why the fuck does everybody know about this besides me? You know, obviously, I know now. I understand. Like, nobody has to beat me up over it. But I was a little naive when it came to it to begin with. So I went full board. I like them. Wild Turkey, obviously. I just like the sweetness level, you know? What is this? 90 proof, right? Yeah, 90 proof. Still has a little bit of kick to it as far as like, still feel like it's there. Soma Dig says, have you gotten a chance to try Green River single barrel? Is mine a single barrel? I don't think so. I just have the Green River full proof. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, blah, blah, blah. It's 118.1 proof. This one's like Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies. Boys, I can't wait till them little drug dealers start hitting in front of Publix. I'm going to buy up all the cookies. We had to get a deep freezer this year because the wife's, breastfeeding, so she's pumping. We got a bunch of extra milk in the deep freezer. As that kind of goes away, I'm going to fill it with Thin Mints. And the tagalongs, too. If you're in the chat and you get Girl Scout cookies, let me know what your favorite one is. So just kind of spam it. Just say Thin Mints, tagalongs. If somebody likes those stupid coconut ones, get the fuck out. I don't like the coconut ones. I don't know the name, but I don't like them. Thomas says, I have a Russell single barrel. It's one of my favorites. So I'm not going to say I was against single barrels, right? I was just kind of, at one point I was saying like, I don't want to buy single barrels because I'm never going to be able to replace it. So why would I pay something for extra money that I can't get again, even if it's only like a 1% better? And then I bought this one, right? And that changed my mind completely because this was so much better. Like this is 90 proof, this is 110 proof. That's a 20-point proof jump. It was like a 5 or 10% price jump around here. Now, this is a 10-year age, this is a 9-year age. So I'm trading off 1-year age for 20 proof points. Solid trade for me, in my opinion. And that's when I was like, you know what? It's better to have one really good bottle than being able to go, well, at least I can buy it again. Because almost every single barrel or store pick that I've bought have been some of my favorites. This one including. So much laughing. Alex says, hey, larceny is really easy to drink. That Glen really comes in handy. Rather have it with Coke. To be honest. Yeah, I don't really mix anything with soda too often. It'd be a rare occasion. I will say a Glen in general, not to like hype them up by any means. My camera died that soon? So we've only been live an hour. Hold on, I'll swap the battery, boys. Don't. Ooh. Well, guess not. I just kicked the crap out of my camera. Let's swap her up. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, I don't drink a ton of like whiskey and Coke, bourbon and Coke, or anything like that too often. Every once in a while, but when I went to North Carolina the most recent time, I forgot my Glen and I brought the Four Roses, right? The single barrel Four Roses I had. And I used this like plastic, like solo cup type thing. And I actually didn't like the pour. I was like, this is a horrible experience. For me, like drinking whiskey, obviously I like whiskey, I like bourbon, don't get me wrong. But it's also an experience, right? It's kind of the full effect. You got the nice fancy bougie glass, you're enjoying the smelling notes, the tasting notes, kind of all of it. And that's what having a drink is enjoyable to me. Not just being able to fucking have it. Sometimes I'm all about just having a drink just to have a drink, but most of the time I'm trying to be fancy with it in a sense. But when I was at that hotel and I had that plastic cup, I was like, fuck this. Why even drink? This is stupid. So I agree. Thomas says, I think Green River single barrels are all store picks. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any. I've not seen any like store pick type Green Rivers. At least not around me. The Green Rivers that I found that one. I found the weeded one. I didn't buy the weeded one. There was one other one too, I think. But most of the John Combs says, "Hey, don't care. Send me food money, you bearded fool." I mean, what kind of food are you gonna get? Oliveira says something. I don't even know how to. What did you break down? Mr. Miyagi says, thinking about jumping into the cigar game, but not sure where to start. Any good starter cigars? Yeah, it's probably the only one that I know anything about. It's going to be the Acid brand. It's the blue little logo. That is, to me, the best starter cigar. Because I'm not like super. I like a good cigar, don't get me wrong. I've had quite a few, but it's the only one that I'm like, hey, like for just starting out, I'm okay with it because it's decent price. It's under $10 a cigar. They also have this nice little sweetness on the wrapper whenever you're kind of like puffing on it. You can kind of taste your lips, stuff like that from the paper. And it has like this like kind of like cool sweetness to it. I like that personally. So the Eagle Rare cigars are they're good. Definitely just tobacco, nothing too crazy with it. It pairs well with a sweet bourbon, but it just depends. Depends on what you want. I hear people walking. I can't figure out where it's from. John, send me food money. How much you need, bud? What you need, like $2? It's like a McChicken nowadays, right? Like 250 is like a McChicken. Food has gotten way overpriced. I bought butter the other day. It's not even real butter. It's just a country crock thing. It was like $9. I was like, this has gotten out of hand. So let me pull this up. Mr. Miyagi, if you really are wanting to get into cigars, the one channel I do watch, I don't watch it that often, but sometimes I do. It's Jeremy Sears. He goes live on like Monday or Wednesdays, I think. I can't remember which one. But he typically like drinks some kind of whiskey, right? It's usually just something random he has. And he usually is breaking down some kind of cigar. Now he's not looking for starter cigars by any means, but his channel is more cigar forward. He does like Man Shit Mondays or some shit. It's cool. It's a cool channel. He lives right down the road from me. He's laughing face McChicken. Hey, McChicken every once in a while. Player says hi from France. Number 0943. Welcome. Hello from the US. France. What a cool place to be. Do you know cognac? I mean, I know what it is. It's not my cup of tea. Like, I'd be like, ooh, Hennessy, good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know enough about it. I typically like bourbon, some whiskey. I have been diving into Japanese whiskey a little bit more. Obviously, I've had some Irish whiskey. We just had a barrel aged gin, but cognac we have not got into that on the channel at least. He says it matches well with cigar. Yes, okay. I do know that. Cognac, cigars do pair fairly well. Same thing with brandy. I hear that pairs fairly well. Or scotch, obviously. He's like, my English is bad. Don't worry. I can barely read. So. said, waiting for my money, bearded boy. Ask how much you need, bud. I said, what, like 200, not 200, like $2.50 for our McChicken? Like, what do you need? American Gun Chick says, Duval. How'd you know I was in Jacksonville? Did I say something about that? Oh, it may be in the title, actually. Manifest? Yeah. When I get a little buzzed in Jacksonville, that's all we do. Yeah, we went to Manifest in Jacksonville. Picked up a couple bottles from the distillery. Actually fairly impressed with them. More going to be impressed with like what they do in the future, but they had that limited wheat whiskey. That one's probably my favorite. John says, got all the money for poison. Help a brother out with some food funds. $5 works. Bro, I'm poor. I just said I went to the distillery. Lost all my money. Pound of ground beef is $5. John, where are you at? Are you in the U.S.? Where are you at? It's in the title. Yeah, I forgot. I do have like I'm gonna do like a full video on them that will probably come out Monday or Tuesday. But I forgot, like I put it in the title. But I appreciate it. You reminded me, that's all. Too bad the Jags suck though, you know? Yep. Russell's decent though, but to be honest, after having this little one, the little guy here, the limited one, maybe it's the proof. Maybe that's why. El Diablo says, I've been cutting back on my bourbon buying. I got in too deep. Hey, I'm not going to say me and you both because I end up somehow buying more. But you got to think. I did New Year's, not this one that just passed. The one before that, I had maybe 10, 15-ish bottles at best. This year, New Year's, we did the bourbon collection video. I had over 94. We already got 3, and it's not even the 5th. You know what I mean? So it looks like a dangerous situation if we keep on track with that. So we got to slow her down a little bit eventually. Just a matter of when. Player says, have a nice day or night. Player, appreciate you stopping by. It is nighttime here, though. It's about 10:30. Soma says, does Russell's compare to Rare Breed? No, not even close. Soma says, I haven't had Russell's yet. Don't know why I keep passing it up. No, I definitely think you need to pick it up. It's good. It's worth the money. Definitely. It's in the budget realm. It's not budget bottle, but it's in the same ballpark. But it's good. It's like an extension of like the same brand, but Rare Breed, obviously higher proof. They're usually barrel proof, and they have a little bit more like impact and flavor. Versus Russell's is like the more like approachable, lower proof version of that. So I think you should have both, in my opinion. Gunchick says, I used to live downtown back when the landing was still there. Bro, I literally drove past that today, and I said, man, do you remember when that used to be the spot? The landing used to be really fun. I remember seeing, who was it? It'll come to me. Give me a minute. I still come through and host women firearms training events. I miss Chubby Wings and Hip Hop Chicken on the north side. If you don't know, I've heard about it. I never attended, but I remember the conversations at work about that stuff. That's pretty cool, though. The firearms training stuff. We're all concealed here. We ain't got to worry about that. Who the fuck did I see at the landing? It was funny because I went into the VIP bathroom and I didn't know I was in the VIP bathroom. I was hammered. Like, I should not have been in public. That's how much I had to drink that night. I was like freshly 21. Went into the VIP bathroom that was roped off. I just stepped over the rope, went to the bathroom. I'm talking about there's like 40 urinals in that bathroom. I'm like kind of in the center. And this guy comes walking up. He stood right next to me. Obviously, I had no idea who he was. Looks at me, goes, "You here for the show?" I was like, "What the fuck?" I left the bathroom and I started talking about it. Like, this guy just, asked me if I wanted to see the show in the bathroom. He was actually the one that was singing that night. I can't remember who it was. It was a country artist. Someone says, "Good info, man. Thanks." Hey, we're here. We're here for the people. The Russells is money. One of my favorites. Gary Allen. Fuck me, bro. I can't remember who it was. I'm gonna see if I can scroll back on my other channel. I know I made a video about it once. Let's see. Hold on. I got it. No, I may have deleted it. Randy Hauser. That's who it was. Randy Hauser. Randy? His first name's Randy? I think that's his proper name. El Diablo says, start buying by the case. A year ago, I was picking up Blanton's for $59. I mean, get Blanton's for $59 is a steal in general nowadays. I wouldn't pay over $75 anymore, but I got one. It's the unfortunate part, like paying for secondary. Buto says, good evening. Oh, Buto, bro. It's been about time. About time you showed up. I'm glad to have you back, though, bud. It's been a while. Hopefully you had a good New Year's. Thomas says, don't go anywhere without my... Okay, I'm not going to read all that, just in case. Hey, you got to keep it on you. The world's a crazy place. You got to be prepared. All right. What we'll do with this one is I'm just going to... I just want a small, a little bit. A little bit. A little bit. Just so I can compare it to, you know what I mean, for science. For science. Buju says, thanks. Very stressful, unfortunately. Stressful? Well, that's no good. I mean, sorry to hear that, though, but did, like, the fireworks get wet or something? Or are we talking, like, something actually bad? Ethanol on that was crazy. Soma says, naughty. Naughty, naughty. Hey, you're for a good time now, a long time. You guys call it, so I had this conversation earlier. You call it a kink in your neck or a crick in your neck? Because me, I got a crick in my neck, and people keep saying that you don't call it a crick, you call it a kink. Like when you turn your head and it kind of hurts a little bit. You know what I mean? When you sleep on it wrong. What do you guys call it? Totally off topic, but I gotta know. El Diablo says, yeah, I started trading bottles of Blanton's for stuff. I got a puppy. I named him Blanton's. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's a good trade. I think you won that trade. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, what people don't realize, like, you can get Blanton's, and there's still some hype around it, where some people just really want to have it. So if you get it and you can buy it for MSRP, obviously I say, hey, like, definitely worth a pickup, and even holding those for a little bit. Like, if you run out of yours, obviously I recommend drinking your own bottle, but it could definitely be, something you can use as a trade piece to get something else. Buddha says, I may have to pour me Old Forester using my new bottle of small batch. Unless he meant old fashioned. Millium and green? I don't know what that is. Buddha says, death of an owner of my company I work for. Ooh. And now the daughter's taken over? I can go one of two ways right there. Sorry to hear that, though. That's unfortunate. Someone says, north of the Mason-Dixon, it's a kink in the neck. Nah, bro. I don't know. I'm not like Southern hick or anything like that, but I just call it a crick. I don't know. It's always what I called it. That goddamn kink. I don't have a kink. It's just like a little crick. Fuck, maybe I am crazy. Oh, old fashioned. Small batch, Millium and green. Where's that from? El Diablo says, I just say stiff neck. I'm not saying stiff anything. I'm just saying, but distillery in Blanco, Texas. Okay, that's kind of cool. I've never heard of them. Texas whiskey. I mean, Buta, you've had some stuff, right? If you had to rank them, okay, let's do this. I want to give it a fair scale between Garrison's, Still Austin, Millium and Green. Is that 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, or 3 out of 3? Like best to worst, you know what I mean? Like, is it even worth hunting? Thomas says Texas. Thomas, you know about this? Fuck, am I late to the game? I feel like I'm late to the game on everything. You guys should just have the channel, not me, you know? Stiff neck, no Diddy. Thomas says good stuff. Okay, fuck, I am late to the game. Hey, sometimes you gotta look a little crick in your stiff neck. El Diablo says, yeah, takes a bit anymore. That's good. He says, don't know yet. Okay. Understood. No pressure. I was gonna make an old fashioned tonight, but I felt like that's all I make. So that's why I made that barrel aged gin with seltzer and lemon, right? It was good, to be honest. It was nice, light, refreshing. Not exactly like my cup of tea for like an everyday thing, but for like every once in a blue moon, I'm game. The wife had a cocktail at the distillery that was like a gin punch. It wasn't really a punch though. It was like a lemon liqueur. It's kind of like what I made, just without the seltzer. Buto says, I think it's just high proof, 60-ish a bottle. 60-ish for Texas whiskey sounds kind of mid-range to the low. Because Still Austin's like 50 for the cask strength, right? 50, $55, depending on where you get it. Garrisons are crazy expensive. Buto says, still red corn was good. Is it Still Austin red corn? It's the farthest bottle away from me, so I'm not going to grab it. But yeah, I like it. It's good. It's not my favorite. I still like the cask strength, bourbon better. But I like the different expressions, so I was okay with picking it up. Thomas says, Devil's River cask strength out of Texas is one of my favorite Texas whiskeys. Okay. Maybe we need to dive into some Texas whiskeys a little bit more. You know what I mean? I have not. There's one thing that I have not done. I've never been like, ooh, Texas. You know what I mean? I like Still Austin. They sold me. Part of the way to like get me into like a stream of bottles, right, is having like a good looking bottle, right? If the artwork looks good, if there's something about it that's appealing. Still Austin has really cool artwork from local artists, local tattoo artists too. That was like, I like that. So it kind of sold me on that aspect. Garrison, cool looking bottle, but I don't want to pay $150 to try a bottle, you know. So, but yeah, the Devil's River cask strength sounds good. Haven't had it though. El Diablo says, you say tickle or frog? Then like a tickle in your throat or a frog in your throat? I just say, I got something wrong with my throat half the time. I go, there's something in there. I probably would go with like, there's a frog. I'm definitely not gonna say, ooh, there's a tickle in my throat. You know what I mean? That's fucking weird. John says, waiting on my money, man. Do you need the Cash App again? I didn't even see you send it the first time, but I ain't got no money. I don't make money from YouTube. We po. John, I would also send you. I mean, I wouldn't. I don't got any money, but like if I did, your picture is like a dude holding like trippy weed. Like, if you need money for food, maybe don't buy weed. El Diablo says K. He definitely says tickle. I'm not here to judge, John. I mean, it sucks if you really don't have money for food. That sucks. I definitely feel for you. I am broke. Not broke, but like, I got a kid. I can't give you $5. If I gave everybody $5, came here after $5, he said, "You make money, homie. Slide a little food money over here." That is funny though. I do appreciate the laugh. Um, I don't make money from YouTube. I wish I did. We're close. We're definitely close. Um, Thomas says there's still more to Texas whiskey than Still Austin and Garrison Brothers. I know that. It's the only two that I remember off the top of my head, though. But what I mean is like, I when I saw Garrison's, I was like, I didn't want to try that right away. Still Austin was the first one that kind of broke me and said, all right, let's try some Texas whiskey. Because I do know that Texas whiskey is going to be aged for a smaller amount of time, rapid aging style. And that wasn't exactly what I was looking for before. So when it came to Still Austin, that's one of the bottles that was like, all right, let's give it a shot. It was really good. So I probably do need to pay attention to Texas whiskeys more. But that's on me. I should be paying attention. I got a lot of stuff going on though. That I was been obsessed with Redwood Empire for like the past 6 months. So anyway, Russell's Private Barrel again, good. Definitely a lot hotter. Definitely a longer finish. But I'm not gonna say it's light years better than this one. This one's it does have a drastic difference as far as flavors go and proof goes, but I mean I'd be fine with either one. Let me put these back now. Let's see. All right. Let's do one more pour, and then we can end it. So I want to do something I haven't done in a little bit. So let's say I'll give you guys some options. We can do Starlight, the Carl T. Hubbard Double Oak Bourbon Whiskey. That's option. That's a option. We can do the Pursuit United. Let's see. I don't want to do any of those. Or, unfortunately, I'll throw it out there. Let's Heaven Hill Grain to Glass, Rye, Starlight Distillery Carl T. Hubbard Double Oak, or 1792 Full Proof. Boozer says M&G, very small batch, 108 proof. Okay. Is it like a 2-year age? French oak. Thomas says, love Texas whiskey. I mean, I guess I can't really speak on it now. Now y'all checking me. I like the Still Austin though. That's good stuff. I drink it quite often though. Thomas says, so many great brands for Texas whiskey. You're not wrong. Mr. Mielik says, let's keep it going, boys. I didn't say I was ending it. I gave you guys choices on what bottles to pick for my next pour. Heaven Hill Grain to Glass, the Rye, Starlight, the Double Oak, or 1792 Full Proof. Soma, you're not the Um, you're not the first one to recommend the Doc Swanson. I do like Redwood Empire a lot. So John says, "You like my profile pic now, you fucking retard." Get the fuck out of here. He's like, "Do what you do when your liver doesn't work anymore, you dumb fuck." Bro, don't be fucking mad. Sit the fuck back down. I can't. If you change your profile pic, I can't see that though. Bro, people, you crack me up, bro. No age statement. Okay. Okay. Ooh, Thomas says 1792. Foolproof though. Does that mean we do both? How does that work? Um, for Texas, I mean, shit. Texas can get like some age and some flavor in there, like super quick. So I mean, it's got to be at least something. It maybe just doesn't say it on the bottle. Unless it's just like super light, I imagine it's got to be at least 2 years. Booter says toasted French oak. That sounds like a good fucking time. Just saying. He's like, you gotta do both now, brother. Hey, we're here for a good time. We'll do like small pours. Someone says Redwood is delicious. You're not wrong. I love Redwood. There's something about Redwood though that the reason why I like it so much is that the profile that it gives off is so much different than everything else that I've had. And every time I try an expression of theirs, it's just that much better. Someone says 1790 foolproof too. All right, we'll do both. We'll do both. Calm down. Calm down. Do a small pour of this one. We'll do another pour of the 1792. He's like, no dark? Okay. I don't know. I have no idea. 6 months is what I guess then, if it's not dark. The Boot says it's a bunch of chicks running the place, so take that into account. I mean, Buto, I understand what you're saying, but Penelope's also ran by women as well. So, I mean, I do like Penelope, but mainly just the architect. Thomas says, I got me a bottle of Rebecca Creek. You guys, I thought that bottle was like supposed to be not good until you guys said it wasn't. So I know I got to pick one of those up eventually. I haven't looked though, but I know I'm supposed to. Get Gooder says, hello, brother. I'm back. I have not tried a beaky yet. No, it's okay. It's only been like 12, 24 hours, something like that. I don't expect you to run and find it immediately. But next week you'll have it. Or 2 weeks. I'll give you 2 weeks. In case you don't get paid or something like a certain day or something, you know? Buto says, I don't know. I dated Millennium a long time ago. Damn, bro. Okay. Should have stayed. That way you get free liquor. That's pretty cool, though. You know what I always find funny, right? This is me with rye whiskeys. Is every time I get a new rye, I'm like, oh, it's like the best rye ever. You always think that until you try like a really good rye, and you're like, fuck, that's good. Because I do really love that Manifest. That's a good one from Jacksonville, local, Florida grains, got some citrus to it. It's light, on palate. Then you try this Heaven Hill grain to glass, 123.2 proof. Got a little bit of malt in there. It's got like a little bit of complexity to the mash bill, and it just blows your fucking taste buds. And you're like, that's what I'm talking about. My limb, where I can barely. I'm dyslexic. Don't mind me. Tommy says, was just looking at a bottle of Beaky yesterday, $90. $90 is basically MSRP, so that would be a buy if you want to try it. But don't buy Hibiki thinking you're about to have the best bottle in the world for $90. Japanese whiskey is just expensive. I like it because it's different. The only issue I have with it, it's really light. It's 86 proof. I just wish it was more for the price. You're paying for a really cool bottle and really good Japanese whiskey. So you always got to keep that in mind. Don't buy that and think, ooh, this is going to be better than my, $60 bottle of bourbon. You know what I mean? So he's like, very entrepreneurial lady. Hey, tell her to keep it going. It's pretty cool. I'll check them out next. I like the correlation. Let me see. Let me go back to your thing. Let's see if we can order one. Oh, shit. Pull up the wrong thing. There we go. Let's pull it up. Okay, they got a triple cast blend of straight bourbon whiskeys, 94 proof, Millium and Green. I like it. Bro, a triple cast would be something I want to pick up. Okay, Buto, I see you. I see you, Buto. Buto says you should fly into Austin, go on a Hill Country Bourbon tour. See, I could fly into Texas, but I probably wouldn't fly into Austin. I'd probably fly into Dallas. Um, the issue with doing a tour of Texas anything is we're talking like days because everything is so far apart in Texas. Okay, I like that. That's pretty fucking cool. Just saying. So I'm on the website for the bottle that Buto has here. Milim and Green. They got some holiday bundle discounts. Save up to like $15 plus free shipping, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's crazy. The dates are wrong on here, but you got the top selling duo, which is a triple cask bourbon and a port cask finished rye. Both bottles for $93. You got the Blender's Reserve Trio, which is a bottle and bond bourbon, very small batch bourbon, and unbridged cask strength bourbon for $214. And then you got the, I can't even see it. It's like blocked out. Unabridged, volume 2 and 3. Those bottles look fancy. Limited edition. You can buy them individually. Each bottle is somewhere around $50. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Buto's out here like a travel agent. He's like, dude, I'm saying 3 days, 2 nights, airfare included, Marriott hotels, the works. Thomas has just picked up Balcones Brimstone last week. Very smoky. I mean, I like a good smoky whiskey too. He says you should. Oh, I read that. He said Still Austin, Balcones, M&G, Garrison, others. Fucking shit, guys. I didn't get the memo. Tonight was Texas whiskey night. Sometimes y'all need to drop it in the Discord. Just let me know. He's like, they have 116 proof that makes a nice old fashioned. I'm here for that. I'm here for that all day. Because Soma says, ironically, I'm sipping on Balcones Baby Blue at the moment. I feel left out. I'm out here saying, hey, Heaven Hill or 1972, I'm just drinking Texas. I should have got Still Austin. Balcones. Looks like Balcones to me, but Mr. Mag says, would you ever want to get into the whiskey business? Call me old fashioned. Yeah, absolutely. And I have thoughts. What I think I would want to start with is I want to work with one or two, maybe three. I think three would be a magic number, but that might be asking too much. One to two distilleries, maybe something like Manifest, maybe something like St. Augustine that are super local and allow me to run rampant, right? Let me make my own and just see what I can come up with. Um, I don't want to be in the business of being my own master distiller or anything like that. That's not what I want to do. I'm pretty good at sales. That's not me. I'm not out here tinkering on the machines, you know? So I probably would, I'm not going to say, I wouldn't do, you know how like Penelope sources from MGP and they just finish it kind of different? That's cool. I don't want MGP though. But if I could find something like St. Augustine's or somewhere else to source from, or even do like a something similar where I source from different places, different times of the year, or different, you know, product lines. I think that would be something cool to do. Just get a little bit of everything, you know, and then finish it my way. Um, I would definitely something I would want to do. It's almost like copycat of like St. Augustine. St. Augustine has a old-fashioned cocktail syrup that's finished in bourbon barrels. They're one of the few people that do that. It's one of my favorites. I would want to do something like that too. So, yeah. I mean, hopes and dreams of cool stuff to do, but I mean, that stuff costs a lot of money, and yeah, we're talking years in the future. So maybe one day. But you never know. As things grow on the channel, it opens up more opportunities for me to do weird stuff. So I'm down to do anything. This just got to make sense at the end, you know. Soma says the Baby Blue is the best straight corn whiskey I've had. Sweet, a little bit of barrel and pepper. It's easy to drink. Not really challenging. It was a birthday present. Love this shit. Okay. I haven't had that, but I mean, I'm down to have it. You're selling it pretty well. Marcus says I can see it happening one day, eventually. Um, I mean, I want to do a few things first before I like go crack into my own line of whiskey or anything. But I think maybe doing something like, and this is definitely something that's in the works for end of this year at least, is to start doing some barrel picks. Maybe trying to tweak on the barrel picks. Would be kind of cool. So I do have something in the works as far as that for at least towards the end of the year. It may be able to happen faster and may be able to do multiple, but at least by this time next year, we should be able to have something set up where we have some kind of like store pick system going on. Tron Jones says, sipping some rye with you tonight. What kind of rye are you sipping on? Welcome to the channel, by the way. Welcome to the stream. Happy Saturday. Normally we go live on Fridays around 9 p.m. Eastern time, but we did kind of a little improv live stream tonight just because I had some new whiskey I wanted to crack open. So Buto says, awesome review. Soma's about to create his own channel, do his own review. That way we can all see him drink the Baby Blue. And then he's going to send us all samples. I'm like losing my voice, boys. Tron says, Bullet. Hello, first time seeing you. Well, appreciate you stopping by. I do love the Bullet. I like the Bullet 12 year though. It's the one I have. It's up on the top shelf. It's really good for $50. It's not my favorite by any means, but I think for the price, like it's kind of hard to pass up on that because this one's expensive. You know what I mean? Like this isn't something you drink every single day just for funsies unless you just have a bunch. The Bullet 12 though is almost gone, so I'm not going to bring that down. But yeah, bullets money. Boozer says, you guys put a brandied cherry and express orange on your old fashions. I don't do the orange. I understand that some people like it and that's cool. Not for me. I put a dark cherry. It's not brandied cherries, but that's just because I don't have them. Um, some it depends, you know. You guys know how I make my old fashions here. I just do the cherry and orange bitters, dark cherry as my garnish. I don't put the orange peel, but when I went to the bar earlier, they put an orange peel in it. Mr. Miyagi says, have you ever thought about starting a podcast? Maybe start bringing on some other whiskey influencers to interview. Mr. Miyagi, if you want to spoil all my plans for this year, I mean, by all means. I don't want to do a podcast per se. I think podcasts are kind of overrated and overdone. Um, I understand the value of them, by all means. I want to do something that is almost exactly the same. I've already reached out to a few different whiskey tubers and different whiskey friends of mine of being like, hey, I want the Friday streams to. We're gonna do like a town hall meeting now apparently. So what the plans are for the future of the channel is obviously I want to start making more regular long form videos for the channels for reviews, first impressions, things like that. And I want the Friday streams to be more hangout recaps of the week's videos, and also maybe start or end those streams with a different person coming on chatting with us. You know, we can call them interviews, we can call them just sit downs, hangouts, but just more just shooting the shit, you know, and we can get as creative as we want to on that end. But that's kind of where I want the Fridays to be. And then eventually I'll do a second live where it's straight up just let me just hang out with the chat. Because that's one thing with me that I will never let go of anyway. Because I like hanging out with you guys. I like reading the chat, talking with you boys. A lot of content creators don't do that, or they only read super chats and stuff like that. That's not me. I don't want to do that. So, um, Thomas says, or wait, I missed one. Buto says, Bullet 12 is really that good. Bullet 12 is really good. It's not my favorite rye, but for price, it's probably one of the better ones, right? Because I like the Rocket Top rye the best, but that's like $80, right? Now, the Still Austin rye is good, but again, that's like $50. I don't think it's better than Bullet. The Bullet 12 is pretty good. Again, we're talking $50. Heaven Hill Grain Glass, one of my favorites, but again, like $150. You know what I mean? So like when you look at all those, like the other ones may be better, but you're paying like double the amount. For me, $50 for a solid rye is money. So I'm with that all day, every day. I can't see my other ones. I'd compare the only other one around the same price point would be the Wild Turkey rye, and I would pick that up over the Bullet. So, Boots says Bullet's great for cocktails. It is. John says I was making those with moonshine cherries the other day. John, you're crazy. I would never do that. Like the Old Smoky cherries. Ugh. It's the one. Like I love the spicy pickle ones, regular pickles, pineapples. I'm okay with. Banana pudding ones bomb for Old Smoky, but the cherries were disgusting. Not me. Buta says super price point. I don't know what you mean. Thomas says way too many podcasts out there. There's a lot of podcasts out there, and that's fine if that's what somebody wants to do. By means, I'm never gonna knock them for that. I personally would rather bring a guest on and not only chat with me, but also chat with the chat, and then we kind of drink something live. You know what I mean? A live first impression from somebody else and myself. I think that'd be kind of cool, rather than me sit down with one person and interview them. You know, I don't care to interview somebody like that heavy. But yeah, we definitely have that coming soon. Buddha says, funny, call me old fashioned using a Scotch glass to drink bourbon. Hey, I'm here for it. John says, bro got some red markers on his face. Yeah, it's cancer, so go fuck yourself. Buto says, anyone drink still blue corn? Recent release? No, I have not. I thought about picking it up, but I was trying to get the Tanger or Tanger. I can't remember what it is. Tanger. the cigar blend. I thought about getting that. And then I went up to the store. I went up to Total Wine, and I got it like, or I showed up like 5 minutes too late. Butcher says, haha, moonshine cherries. I'm talking Luxardo. I do like Luxardo. The ones I use are, this is empty. Why do I even have this? I have another one somewhere. The Filthy brand. Black cherries. These are good. Tron says, yeah, they're nasty as fuck, but it's the only cherries I had on hand. Works as a garnish. I mean, I guess just garnish, letting it soak up some of the other stuff can't typically mess anything up. I personally like an old fashioned where I can end it with a nice little snack of a little dark cherry, but you know, whatevs. The Woodford cherries, I don't have any. They go bad kind of quick, so unless you're really making old fashions that fast, probably not the best investment because they're definitely more. They're like $25 a jar, but they're good. Those are my favorite. Thomas says, I use any glass that is clean. I mean, I personally like a Glen for all my whiskey and bourbon needs. But you guys see it half the time I bring out a rocks glass as soon as my glasses get dirty. So we've been slowly growing our Glen collection so I don't ever have to run out. The wife doesn't like too much because it takes up like half the dishwasher. So whatever. Thomas Buta says, good plan, Thomas. Only one Glen owned? See, that's you need to get at least 3. 3 is a good rotation. 4 is even better. I now have 6. I break them all the time. That's the issue. I buy one like every couple weeks. But you think about that. How would the math on that? If I have 6 and I buy one like let's say once a month, but I own 6, I literally break one almost at the end of every stream. It feels like I literally just knock it over on accident, obviously. Oh, Butu says Costco has some killer cherries right now. You're talking about the urn, like the white and blue, looks like a Greek thing. I've had those. Those are good. And you can buy them in bulk. It looks like you're about to pour some ashes into your drink, but it's cherries. Butu says, what brand of Glen? I mean, Glen Cairns. And then I have one from St. Augustine Distillery. Then I have one from Manifest. Most of the time, I'm just buying the generic Glencairns. I'm not buying anything too crazy. Tron says, you seem to know more about whiskey than me. Why do people use those little flute glasses? So they use a Glen like this. I personally, I just talked about this earlier. There's something about glass rather than plastic. It's just the experience in general is just better. But the reason is the shape, right? The whiskey goes in, right? You can kind of swirl it around, but the fumes are being directed somewhere. Let me see if I can pull this up. So like the opening of these two glasses are drastically different. If you go to take a sip, right, your nose kind of goes in. Same thing with this. Tasting of anything is also like 50% your nose, right? That's why if you plug your nose, people are like, ooh, eat your veggies. They plug their nose, right? So they can't smell, which is half your taste. When you breathe into something like this, there's a lot more room for everything to escape. That's why when you put your nose in, it kind of like focuses just everything right there. So you're not missing a beat, you know? Same thing with it just looks real fancy and you can put your pinky out. But besides that, it's intentionally used to focus just everything. Butu says, I don't even know what he just said, to be honest. Thomas says, I got mine at a yard sale. Okay, not bad. Butu says, nose. Focus on your nose, or focuses on your nose. Like the difference in wine and a glass. Sure. Yeah. I mean, it allows you to focus on the tasting notes a little bit better, easier to pick up rather than the allowing more air in than the actual product. Hmm. I don't know too much about wine like that, but Butcher says so a big burgundy wine glass has a large bowl. I understand what a wine glass is. I was just didn't know. Tron says, well, now I know they're called Glens. I mean, we're here to teach you something. If we don't teach you anything, we at least will have a drink with you. So now we're moving on to 1790 Foolproof because you guys want me to have both. Smaller bowl and narrow. Didn't know that. To be honest, like for wine, I'm not the biggest. I don't care about wine as much because the only wines I typically like are gonna be like the super sweet, super sugar ones. San Sebastian, the St. Augustine wine here, they have a really good red, but it's like sugar grapes. You know what I mean? Their rosé is pretty good, a little bit more bitter, but still has like some sweetness to it. Where for me, I like it. Um, but that's about it. Booster says, anyway, Tron, you the man, try them all. That's how you sum it up, bud. Hey, just get them. Just get the glasses. Easiest way to say why it's better is get one of these and get a plastic like solo cup. Drink one sip, drink the other sip, and you'll realize that this just has a better experience overall. So that you can go like this. Boozer says, where are you at? Call me old fashioned Cali? Hell no, I'm in Florida. Florida? I live in a I like half the like Lily. What's I always say I live between St. Augustine and Jacksonville because half the street I live on is St. Augustine, the other half is Jacksonville. So it literally depends on like what side you live on that I can see is St. Augustine, Jacksonville. So it's already on the to-do list. There we go. You got to come back. You got to let me know what you think about it. That way I can get a different perspective and know if they're a waste. Missy Malgi says, this has been a fun Saturday stream, brother. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm here for the people. I won't be live too much longer. I'm going to finish up this pour. We'll probably shut it down. I always have to bring this up when I drink 1792. I want to like this bottle. The flavors are really good. But no joke, it dries my mouth out like crazy to the point where I'm like, I don't have any more water, so I'm kind of like, what the fuck? But I'm like, I'm even more thirsty than when I took the first sip, so it's my only complaint with it. I don't know why it does it. Obviously, I like Barton stuff. It's just, why does it do that? John says, grow up, grown man, drinking alone. Go get some pussy. One, I'm married. I have kids. Oh, fucking Luther. Oh my god, my feelings. Oh my god. Nobody's complaining about me being a fucking loser. Bro, you came in here asking for fucking lunch money. Stop it. I still love you. I'm so glad you're in here chatting. Like, I'll go back and forth. We can make fun of each other all day. It doesn't actually hurt my feelings, but I'm sorry if I do hurt your feelings. Sometimes I like to have fun though, you know? Buddha says, go buy a Napa cab. So somebody told me to buy a Napa cab 2016 year Napa cab. So that was one that's like on my list to find for wines. I don't know what I would be buying, but that's on my list. Buddha says, pour 2 glasses, taste the difference. Buddha says, very smooth and soft. Napa, very tannic. Okay. Mr. Miyagi says, I knew you would shut it down after the 1792 drinking sawdust. Bro, I don't know what it is with the 1792. What's crazy is like there's never been a bottle that like I love and hate at the same time as much as 1792. It's like it has good flavors, good proof, but it's just that dry after finish, you know? It's just weird. Like it starts off really good, like deep caramels, brown sugar, vanilla, a little bit of fruit, and then like it just goes sand. You know what I mean? It's just weird. Buddha says 2016 was an okay year, different styles. Somebody was swearing by the 2016 year. They're like, you gotta go get the Napa Cab 2016. It's the best thing you're ever gonna have. I know wine, you know shit. And I'm like, all right, my bad. So I'm gonna buy it just so I can tell them I had it, and I'll be the judge. Again, that's like me telling somebody to go buy Buck. I have no idea what I'm telling them to go get, you know? So I'm gonna try it because they recommend it so highly, and then I'll let you guys know. Tron says, so that's why you recommend the Austin whiskey tour. I might drive down there and give it a shot. See what it did there? I see what you did there. Yeah, I mean, Buto living in Austin, being able to go to the distillery is definitely a big plus. I wish I lived next to some of the distilleries that I like a lot. Obviously, I get to live next to St. Augustine. I get to live next to Manifest. And those are cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking them. But, like, still Austin would be really cool to live next to, especially since they're kind of, like, up and coming. And they're pumping out a bunch of cool stuff lately. If you live next to Buffalo Trace or Woodford's or any of those stuff, that would be cool as well. So, yeah. It would be cool to live next to a distillery like that. But I'm not moving to Austin, Texas, so. See, like the nose on the 1792 is just magical. A lot of ethanol though, but other than that. Buto says, okay guys, got to take the dog out to pee. All right, well Buto, I appreciate you stopping by. By the time you get back, we'll probably have already shut it down. But I appreciate you stopping by, hanging out, chatting with us tonight. It's been a minute, but I appreciate it. It's just different, you know? All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, happy Saturday. Thanks for hanging out on this stream where we just talked about bourbon whiskey. We just started doing some fun stuff, you know? We obviously tried the Manifest Rye, Manifest Barrel Gin. We also tried their limited release for their weeded whiskey. All good stuff. Stay tuned for the full video where we go to the distillery. I try like 6 to 7 different pours with 2 to 3 different cocktails. A little bit of the tour as well. That will be coming out next week. But of course, as always, like, subscribe, do all that jazz, and I will see you boys on the other side. Peace. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying it gives me a dry mouth. Everybody say goodnight to John. Good night, John. Good night, boys. Stay safe, and I will see you guys on the other side.